The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast.
Whatever you drive, however you drive. AMSOIL specially engineers lubricants to maximize power, performance, and action in your vehicles, so you can work hard and play hard with confidence.
The playoffs are amongst us, and now we head to what in the real world is the championship finale, but here is a setup race to take us towards the end. The Phoenix Raceway in Avondale, Arizona, a track that is known to solidify champions and a little bit difficult for a lot of drivers. Let's see how it fares tonight. Welcome everyone to PTR TV for today's coverage of the Triple Bypass Racing League. We are enduring the heat stroke 130 here, 130 laps around the difficult track here in the desert. Gonna be myself, Corey Silva, in the booth and in the production truck. Brad Dalton to help me out here with the calls. Brad, this track here on iRacing is a doozy. Very seldom do we see a clean race here, and we'll see if these Triple Bypass guys can put one on for us here today.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I'm going to save my tangent about this track for a little bit later in the broadcast, but let's just say that I am excited to see how this league takes things on here around Phoenix. We're already up into the grid here. Things are going to go quick and fast today, and that's just the way the championship has been here. Who takes on McClendon? That's the million-dollar question, as he's up front with Ty Bass in second place, starting right to his outside. Third place, Matt Barasini making a comeback here for the run with Brad Kress in fourth. P number 5, Jared Jackson. P6, Sean Bradley there to his outside. And the number 77, Kyle Dewey. Can he do it from 7th place? We're going to find out. Michael Hopkins in 8th. P number 9, William Emmert and Ben Harcum in 10th here, Corey.
Outside of our top 10, we find Daniel Williams in 11th with Matthew Robinson going to be in 12th. Skippers, Virginia. Keaton Crothers, the Canadian native, in 13th with another Canadian in the form of Jeff Slaughter. Elton Woo out of 15th, and then Sid Keshian. That new name here in the league in 16th. Donald Risto 17th. Al Corey the Boss Man in 18th, and then rounding out our top 20. Ryan, if you could put a new picture in for us, in 19th, and then Mark Herzog in 20th. And just to round things out, because we're going to have a very expedited start to today's race, Jason Benson 21st, Timothy O'Connor in 22nd. And then we have Matt Harmon, Tex Nichols, our league sponsor, Josh Corner, Michael Seymour, and Ward Fisher are going to be shotgun on the field. Today's race is brought to you by Steve McClendon, our points leader. Going to start today's off from the front row, and again, our race sponsor, want to thank him for that. Our point standings heading into today, because again, this is a playoff race. Our points as follows. You got Steve McClendon, who is just, the man, the myth, the legend himself. He's leading everything here and leading the points by 1 point over Jared Jackson, and then you can see the remainder of the top 11 playoff drivers.
And this is going to be a fun one to watch here, Corey, and kind of see how things go through. Also, Sid, good to see you. We haven't seen Sid on a cup race all season. I know he runs a lot of the during the week stuff. Of course, Triple Bypass runs 5 nights of racing going through. And Corey, I know you take advantage of that during the week very heavily. But yeah, it's nice to see Sid back on track here. A lot of good faces coming on track here for the penultimate run as we get to this weird Phoenix layout that I'm going to save it on. But we've got the back stretch to come around to the dog leg before we hit a restart zone on a 1 mile, you ask, iRacing track. this is going to be a fun night here. Let's see how they survive to the stage.
Yep, that Duke configuration circa 2018 was one that questions a lot of people, but that's what we get to play with here today, heading into the O'Reilly Auto Parts restart zone. But we'll get an initial start underway. Barney has the flag in hand. The cactus is green, and we're racing in the desert. And Brad's favorite thing, we're cutting the dog leg.
I can't stand it, and you're going to hear me complain all night. So if you wanted a broadcast where you get to hear Brad complain about something, welcome to the Track Limits broadcast, featured by Triple Bypass.
Whoa, blocking Ty Bass
and
Matt Parasini blocking, well, rather giving a little shot to the back bumper. Ty Bass with the aggressive block, and all the way down in Mexico, running as south as they are, is Jared Jackson getting the run underneath. Parasini washes up the track. Parasini in the wall, shades of Ryan Newman to Kyle Larson in 2014. That's still a wound that many are sore by, but Parasini ain't going to enjoy that one.
He's not going to take kindly to that, knowing how Parasini is. I have a feeling that he'll remember that one if it comes down to it. So look at this, coming through. He's up on the track, and then the 12 just comes up out of that cut, which is for whatever reason legal. Don't ask me why, but it is. Comes through, and watch Parasini right on the back of Jackson. He's going to stick to the back of him here. And again, if Parasini doesn't have too much damage on the right side of that car, we're going to see something interesting that might remind you of Kenseth and Logano from a long time ago.
But going back all the way back to 2014, as I said live in that moment, Ryan Newman made an aggressive charge into what was turn number 3, sent Kyle Larson into the wall. That put Ryan Newman in the original Final Four and knocked Jeff Gordon out. Still a wound very difficult for me to swallow. But that was very reminiscent of that big dive, and you have to adjust your line, adjust your speed into what is now turn number 1 when you make that dive, because your corner entry is a lot different than it normally would be. But now that the drivers have kind of gotten up to speed, and this next gen car up there, Brad, and this will facilitate your track limits hating, as low as it is to the ground and as difficult as it is to drive, as Kyle Dewey just proved, it doesn't like a lot of going up, going down. So I think the longer the run goes, the less likely they are to do massive cuts of the dog leg. All right, never mind. What the hell do I know?
I was about to say, are you sure about that?
Usually.
Are you sure about that? Just remember, ladies and gentlemen, the cars are paid actors. That's all I got for you at this point. New ice cream flavors coming through this week, though, as we see here. Everybody just looking to find something somewhere. William Emmert here with a great dive down to the inside, trying to hold off Michael Hopkins again. Round 2 of the playoffs here this week, with next week being at Darlington to finish things out.
Yep, and that'll be you, Brad. I don't know who's the sidekick, but unfortunately, if you don't like my voice, you won't have to hear me next week. But I'll be out of state, so Brad will have that finale, and we'll see who will take the triple bypass crown underway. And we've already announced that Season 8 will be covered here by us here on PTR TV. Now, who is this car ahead of Ben Harcum here? Brad Kress. I'm assuming I have some kind of paint scheme glitch going on here. And I will add a caution flag, try to do a little refresh of that. But for the time being, Brad Kress is in the blankest of blank vehicles. But Steve McClendon is leading the charge by about 0.4 of a second. Jared Jackson has been able to pull away from Matt Parasini, which is going to be a good idea for him. But Sean Bradley looking to the outside of Parasini here through 1 and 2, trying to get that run, pitch the 24 down, and try to make that outside lane happen.
Yeah, continuing to push around here, do what he can. 24 going to the inside, and looky here, a little bit of a slide coming through the 77, holding on Sean Bradley all the way up towards the wall. Parasini's going to drop down. You can see the car really slap there as it comes off the banking, back onto the banking, send it through, and again, Parasini just fighting to go through and keep that momentum alive. I do think he's carrying a lot of riding damage from that hit to the wall earlier, and well, Ty Bass is just kind of trying to play the sympathy card, a little bit of a tap into the wall there, coming through around and trying to just, I think, stay consistent with McClendon here. They know they need to make it to at least the stage break, so no sense in doing anything unnecessary too early on.
Yeah, he's got getting that gap in. We know how aggressive that 2 car is, so We'll see what happens if and when he does get there. We saw Dewey get into the wall, and what in heaven's name is on the front of Ben Harcum's car? Is that some kind of like raging evil chicken of some kind? Dave's Hot Chicken. That's a thing. That's a restaurant of some sort. I just don't have any up here in New England.
It is a restaurant. And it's not bad. I will say Dave's Hot Chicken is not bad. I personally prefer Gus's, but, some people like Dave's, some people like Joella's. Gus's is my choice.
You are speaking a foreign language to me, but if it has to do with fried chicken, I'm all ears for that conversation. As, that just is what it is here. But a good battle going on outside of the top 10, or just at the top 10, I should say. Michael Hopkins, the 10 car, in the 10th spot. Behind that, you have Keaton Carruthers and the Ice Cream Mobile, which we promise not to discuss too much because we get yelled at for that in a joking fashion. But things are getting hot here at the front of the field. Ty Bass has used the feel-good off those Dr. Feelgoods, and he will relinquish the second spot to Jared Jackson, playoff driver in the form of number 12, hence the yellow on the car and the blue nameplate. And here comes Sean Bradley on a comeback tour through the field, getting in close to that number 2 car.
The comeback tour is always the fun one to watch. Those are the drivers that I really keep the eye on, the ones that make the comeback tour work really well. I'm thinking back to Area iRacing from Tuesday night. Their season finale was last week, and it was the comeback tours of all comeback tours coming through that we saw last week. If you didn't watch that, that'd be a good one to watch after this race if you really want to enjoy some wild racing, because that was... I feel like that was probably the most the drivers are paid actors we've had in a while, because every time we said, no, this driver can't win, they turned around and won. So anytime someone's coming back to front, they're challenged, just like right there. Sean Bradley underneath the inside of Ty Bass, getting a great move there. He's going to drop aggressively down. Oh, I thought he hit the pit wall there for a second. Sends it back up here. Ty Bass over the outside if he can. Hold on to it. And Sean Bradley's still not clear, but man, that's hard racing.
Yes, it is indeed. Tyrone Bass on that outside lane and trying to make it happen up there through 3 and 4. This is why they built it. They thought they were going to have some side-by-side racing, and we did see side-by-side racing. I know there was an Xfinity race there where something crazy happened, running to the stripe one lap, and a lot of green-white checkers have decided championships. That's a podcast topic of which this is not. But Sean Bradley gets that car into that number 3 position, and not without a little shot to the back bumper from Ty Bass.
Yeah, Ty Bass really will race hard. That is the one thing I've kind of really picked up with Ty Bass through the whole season, is he will race hard when it needs to be raced, and he is not afraid to really put the bumper to someone and try to make a move here. We'll see what he's able to do going through that 33 back here. Kyle Dewey, can he do it with Michael Hopkins to the inside there in the number 10? And they're going to come through. Dewey, I thought, was going to eat the wall for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but decides not to. Down the inside, Crest wants to get past Parasini. Let's see what happens with them as they go through, as the cars now decide they don't like colors.
Yeah, I'm just doing a little update here, try to do it stealth, but surprisingly, I'm going to say surprisingly, this race has been green flag for at least the first 19 laps. There he goes. We have mysteriously found out the reasons as to why that car wasn't painted properly, but now it is. The Great Clips number 9 Trading Paints, the software that we use, not official software by iRacing, but a software that iRacing themselves uses to get the paint schemes from each driver to load. And it has its moods, as does everybody, in relation to that 2 car. That 2 car, back in the day, Brad Keselowski was the most hated driver in the field, and obviously ran the number 2 as the Red Bull car hits the wall. Seems that nobody likes Ty Bass right now. Everyone's giving him a shot as they get close to him.
He's the cork in the bottle right now, honestly. I think that everyone from Ty Bass back thinks that they could have a run on these top 3. And if you're Brad Kress and you're a playoff driver right now, you want Ty Bass out of the way. But here's the thing, and this is, again, we could go on a podcast topic, but I will save it because we really need to start one at this point. I think this is kind of what the playoff system causes is you have the drivers who are in the playoff that are going to race hard, but then you have the drivers who aren't in the playoff who still want the win, who are going to race just as hard. So then it just turns into sort of craziness sometimes as Brad Kress finally gets past Ty Bass, and now Matthew Robinson is up way on the high line here as Ty Bass is going to try to look back through, gives a light tap of the rear bumper to Brad Kress. Brad Kress is going to keep trying to go here down the inside, and Ty Bass again to the outside trying to go back around him here. Ty Bass again, truly the cork in the bottle for everyone as they go through.
And Brad is going to go all the way down to Never Never Land, try to clear, and he will finally. And Ty will not have anything to make a comeback charge. That 34, my Lanta, he is running the wall line like I've never seen here at the Phoenix Raceway. Doing a great job of it. But to back up your point there, Brad, about I thought Brad Kress was going to get sent into the next world, but Ty Bass managed to stop. He drove in with a head of steam. There's drivers who will race just as hard as Ty Bass. You know, they will race hard like he is to get what they can get. They don't really care so much as to what's going on. But then you also have, and we saw this on our other broadcasts as well, non-playoff drivers who just completely throw in the white flag and just say, you know what, I'm not getting in the way. You guys do your thing. I don't want to affect it. So it kind of creates a seesaw effect of either you're going to try just as hard, if not harder, or you're not going to try that hard at all.
Well, and I think it just sort of depends. I think that goes twofold. I think one half of it is sort of a driver ego front, to be honest. Like, no, here's the thing. We all race to win, right? Like, let's be clear, Corey. You, me, everyone, you get on iRacing to win. You don't get on iRacing to coast around in 25th place unless that's just something you're doing because you know you're trying to do that for, you know, safety rating, experience, whatever it might be. You're here because you want to run at the front. But at the same time, you have to have that sort of thought of, okay, I'm not running for the championship. Don't let me wreck a championship driver. But then it's still, I want to win. And it's such a hard thing to balance that it gets in a weird situation. And again, I think it's a nature of playoffs. And again, I know this is the thing we do in real life, but just because it's done in real life doesn't mean it always works. I hate to be the guy to bring that news to the front, but here we are. Is again, everyone dives through off the flat, comes back up onto the banking, coming around here, and you can see this is the nature of Phoenix. Goes 2 wide, goes 3 wide as Pericini is right there with Ty Bass, and I have a feeling that Pericini wants to get that pass done sooner rather than later, as Harcum's going to get a polite little send up the inside around Pericini. Pericini leaves plenty of room here, and it looks like Pericini is going to just let Harcum kind of work his way through without too much issue here.
And he will get by, and he will clear. Pericini will get back in line, and now Harcum gets right to the rear bumper of the two, if not almost into the left rear quarter panel. And I'll just give one more quick real-life example as that turn 2 wall became quite plentifully destroyed there, as here comes Pericini to the inside, and Harcum will try to get that momentum built back up after that wall contact. But I go back to another Kyle Larson example, Brad, and this was, I want to say 2017, 2018, doesn't really matter, but he had the fastest car at the final race at Homestead Miami Speedway. He easily had the fastest car. He was running in third. He was hard charging, and he just stopped. He did not go, whoever the front two that were battling, I don't remember who it was, but he stopped. And everyone knows that he stopped because he just did not want to be that guy to get in the way. So, again, it all depends on the driver, such as a Ty Bass. He don't care. He's going for it no matter what. Men Harcum, playoff driver, he's trying to get by. And then you have Matt Pericini, who, you know, I think he's a good person to have that good middle ground of, I'm going to respect you, but damn well you're not getting any freebies.
Yeah, and I think it's also sort of a mindset thing, depending on sort of what. So there's a big age range in triple bypass too. I think you and I understand that really well, getting to interact with the guys a lot behind the scenes and stuff. There's a wide age range of drivers in this league going through, and I think that comes to play as well. Daniel Williams, hard hitting to the wall there. Looks like he's still going though, so
yeah, we stay
see
green.
What happened here?
Our PTR TV replay, sponsored by, there's no sponsor, but you could be the sponsor if you give us money. Let's see what happens here on the replay. Oh, he just got loose on the line there, and Slaughter got slaughtered. Well, not quite slaughtered, just a little bit skirmished on the way by. But Barney says, let him play, let him go. And that is indeed the case here as we, oh my God, look at this cluster. Using my New England accent, we got a cluster here as they come through turns 3 and 4. Ty Bass trying to hold off the charge from Matt Robinson. Will do so for the time being. Not missing anything up front. Again, our race sponsor, Steve McClendon. This race is turning into a race where we forget the leader because he's just, just completely unchallenged. But he's doing some pretty impressive things as we battle on. Again, our stage will be at lap 50.
So we're under 20 to go to the stage here, 16 to go. Look at that, the 10 and the 33. Michael Hopkins, Kyle Dewey with a little bit of side-to-side rub there. And Michael Hopkins is going to abort mission, dive all the way down, is up front. Parasini there trying to look for a move around with Ben Harcum, trying to work his way through as Ty Bass again. Cork in the bottle has managed to kind of uncork himself, get away from this, and now it's Matthew Robinson who's really kind of proved the cork. But I do believe that Bass and Robinson are teammates, so I almost wonder if there's not a little bit of canoodling going around here as they go. Oh, I hate this. I hate this. I hate this.
Let's see what happens here. Entering the corner in the real world, you will see them run down there on the flat, especially on the restarts. They will run down against the inside wall. It's ridiculous to see. Luckily, it doesn't work here in the sim. Otherwise, Brad would be going on about that too. But who is the Red Bull car? That's the Woo machine of Elton. And he is, again, running a line that traditionally isn't run, but trying to make something happen with it. That Red Bull number 5. Putting some Formula One spin on a NASCAR livery here. Now I'm going to go Australian British here, which apparently I need to get used to my British accent here for race in season number 8, mate. Oh no, we having a little bit of a kerfuffle here on the backstretch.
And there's caution number 1. Elton Woo, hold the brakes. Good job, Elton. Good brake hold there. Was that all right? Is this a 2-1 doesn't go? Let's get a good overhead shot of this one. So
34 into the fence, down into the 5. Hopkins, just an innocent bystander.
Man, that is rough because that is never where you want to be in the mix. There was room for the cars. It just seems like maybe a misjudged gap by about 6 inches at most that kind of set off that effect of things here.
And again, they do have one quick repair, so it won't be anything catastrophic for the Wooster. But everybody coming into the pits here, this will leave a little bit of a shootout of sorts here of roughly 10 laps before our stage break. So interesting to see that everyone, I guess not interesting to see, but everyone coming down for their pit stop. Be interested to see if anybody chooses to stay out for the stage because they still will need a pit stop. Our fuels, we didn't get to go over our keys to the race here. Fuel run is about 70 laps to cut or not to cut. We've seen that the question is to cut, and it's a caution-prone track, which as of the time of this recording, it hasn't been, but one caution is not, this could be the domino that puts everything into the old pooper here. But while this caution does continue, let's just quickly go over last week's race with a recap video of Daytona. And if it does run a little long, we will go into a little side-by-side, so you won't miss any of the action.
On July 27th, 2025, the Triple Bypass Nichols Oil Pro Series brought the action to the high banks of Daytona International Speedway for 85 wild laps that kicked off the chase for the championship. The race was sponsored by Jared Jackson, and the On Edge Racing 85 was broadcast live by our friends at PTR TV. With 7 different leaders and 9 lead changes, the Super Speedway lived up to its reputation. Throw in just 3 cautions and it was a drafting chess match from green to checkered. Steve McClendon, driving car 51, pulled off the win with perfect timing and razor-thin execution. He led just a single lap, but it was the one that mattered most. His fastest lap came on the final circuit at 45.9 seconds, and he edged out the competition with a dramatic last-second surge. Right beside, Jason Benson piloted car 42 to an outstanding second-place finish, coming up just 0.007 seconds short of victory. Benson led 22 laps and clocked a fastest lap of 46.0 seconds on the final lap. His dominance at the front was felt all day. Sean Bradley in car 77 made big moves late to snag third place. He crossed the line only 0.064 seconds behind Benson, with his fastest lap of 46.0 seconds also coming on lap 85. Jared Jackson, the pole sitter, led a race high 46 laps and stayed in the mix all day, ultimately finishing fourth. Kyle Dewey, starting deep in the field, carved his way through the pack and brought it home in fifth after leading 11 laps. The first playoff race delivered an all-time TBP classic and propelled McClendon to the top of the points. We hope you enjoyed this triple bypass Nichols Oil Pro Series recap. We'll see you next.
All right, we're back here. You missed a lap, but we are, you didn't miss a thing on our side-by-side. A restart is happening, and we are up and at it now. We did have 3 drivers stay out. Mark Herzog was the leader for the restart, but he has since lost that lead and thought he was just about to get cremated there. But oh my God, we have Harcum all the way down into the Never Never Land, and he is underneath Crothers, who is underneath Kress. There's Matt Robinson there just in front. And they will go nearly 3 abreast off the corner. But Jared Jackson, he is in second, and he is the closest really anybody has been to McClendon all race.
Yeah, Jared Jackson is going to give McClendon a run for his money here over the next few laps. 7 to go as they cross the line. Look at how hard the car bottoms when they drop off the run there down towards turn 1. I mean, that is a hard hit there that every one of these cars is taking lap after lap, trying to keep it together and go through. So, I mean, kudos to the drivers for the car control, because I know these car setups running through, the car itself doesn't like it, and depending on the setup, it may like it even less. I haven't personally driven the setup for Phoenix here, so I can't say for sure how the car probably feels. We'll ask somebody later and see, but watch out all the way around as Jackson and McClendon, I believe, are going to be side by side up in the front coming through. And are we going to see Steve McClendon not get a perfect lap, perfect race of every lap led? Right now it looks like it, because Jackson up the inside going through around out of the restart zone. And yeah, no, Jared Jackson will be scored leader this lap.
Yes, he will, but he will not go down without a fight. Let's see what happens here. McClendon on that outside lane, drives it in deep, drives it into the outside, pinches that 12 car down, and can he clear? Can he cross over? The answer to both of those questions is no, and now he has the chance to maybe do a diver, but no, he's going to stay in line. Again, the stage is important, but what's more important is finishing the race. As, again, going all the way down, and you could see, as you said, Brad, all that, changing, all that banging against that asphalt. In the real world, that's why they don't do it. It really actually physically damages those diffusers, and those diffusers are a very expensive component of these next gens. Here in the sim world, we don't get diffuser damage like that, so it's boys have at it.
Can you imagine if iRacing had a parts budget as we come through here, and you could see still trying to find runs, McClendon, Jackson. We check back in Herzog. Unfortunately, I mean, you might as well just tie I don't even know, some sort of heavy object to his car, because he has just dropped down so far. He's in the P13, continuing to fall through. William Emmert here trying to run with Ty Bass. Ty Bass really trying to defend here, going towards the stage break as they come around out of the restart zone, heading through again, down past the cactus, into turn 1, drop through, bottom out, come back up around, keep the run going. I mean, that's just what you got to do here to keep things alive as we go. And there is the 809 of Keaton Crothers getting past the ice cream man.
Oh, Brad, I just did it by force of habit. I hit my turn 3 cam out of force of habit, but it was actually turn number 1, because this for years and years and years and years and years and years and years was turns 1 and 2. This was the backstretch, and this was turns 3 and 4. Still, this version's been out for about 4 years now, and I still can't acclimate to it here. Coming through turns 1 and 2 as it may. Going all the way to the rear of the field into the 19th, 20th spot. Daniel Williams, he was a part of that caution. Hopkins, I don't know what happened to him. Daniel Williams stayed out of the last caution, but Hopkins, as never mind, the stage is out. I was working on a thought, but our stage beat me to it.
stage here at the start of lap 50, and Jared Jackson is going to pick up the stage point over Steve McClendon, and that is going to be very important for him here, Corey, because right now I would argue up front it's a three. Basically, your 1, 2, 3 is who I would argue if you're looking for who to support for the championship run. It's McClendon, Jackson, and Sean Bradley, because that's your top 3 right now in standings. They've been very dominant all season, and 7 points separate them. And for Jared Jackson, that little bit of extra points is going to make a big difference.
That number 34 has had some serious right front damage. Not sure if that's just from the wall. He was running the high line. Some drivers coming in, and they were kind of all stacked up as they were trying to get themselves situated into the pits, rather to catch up to the pace car. And I'm not sure if the pits were open or if some drivers just didn't want to pit, because remember, they just pit about 10 laps ago, Brad. But we do have contractual obligations, and those are to talk to our stage, our series, no, our race sponsor. Gosh, my brain is off in La La Land now, but I'll let you have a word with our friend Mr. Steve McClendon quickly. Actually, let's make sure that, I don't know if we're going to have time.
I was going to say, I don't.
So we're probably coming to 1 to green. No, I don't know. If we go to 1 to green, we won't. We'll wait till another caution. But again, we always like to give a special opportunity for the race sponsor to have a word. You know, this race being called the Heat Stroke 130, usually there's always a clever play on, you know, the track at hand, obviously being in the desert. A place you can get a heat stroke rather easily, but we'll see what the cactus decides to do. Does the light keep blinking? It does not. So that means we're going to go 1 to green, so we will not pester our sponsor yet, but odds have it there'll be another chance to for the race ends.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get to talk to McClendon at some point here, even if it's post-race. So if you ever want like the easy odd bets, McClendon is always a strong racer here. So we'll see what happens. Also, Tyler Ruyelis, happy birthday. I see you floating out there in YouTube chat, not around racing. Doesn't want to race on his birthday. I think that is, you know, kudos to you.
I would want to race on my
Enjoy
birthday.
things.
That'd be well, for me in my life, that'd actually be a present, because that means I don't have to do other things. But each their own. Sometimes a track like Phoenix may not be a breath of fresh air, which I fully understand. 25 cars still on the lead lap. Timothy O'Connor, the O-man, is closing back up to the field, but he's still a lap in arrears. But we're going to come through 3 and 4. Jared Jackson on the loud pedal. Not a terrible start from McClendon as the outside car. And here they go down to the flat, nearly into the pit wall, using every last inch of real estate down there.
And a great run there from Jackson to get away quickly. McClendon holding on. Sean Bradley there in 3rd. 4th place coming through, Ty Bass, and everybody exits out onto the backstretch. It seems like fairly together. We'll see what happens as they come through the dogleg on this lap and see where things come around here out of turn 4, going down and through. And look at that. McClendon's going to go all the way down again towards that pit wall, send it back up, look for a hard send up the inside. He closes the gap a bit. But the big issue is when you carry that momentum dropping so low, you have to load up a lot more on to turn 1 and 2. But coming through again, you can see McClendon holding on there, Sean Bradley in 3rd. And I have a feeling for Jackson, he's going to be feeling the pressure for the next little bit.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. Jackson, because Steve McClendon is for real, and he may indeed, I don't know if I'll make your daughter cry, but he may make you cry if he can get the lead here. Our season 6 champion and our points leader, Mr. McClendon, trying to go back-to-back, and things are shaping up favorably for him to do that. But Jared Jackson is his nearest competitor, both in terms of the point standings and in terms of on the race track right now. As that battle does continue on, Brad Kress in the no longer white car in the Great Clips, what is that, a Casey Kane era Camaro, I do believe it to be, side by side with Mr. Emmert. That is for the 7th spot. And then they are still racing a plenty there, just nearly outside the top 10. Guys we haven't spoken of all day, we have the 25 Donald Risteau, and Josh Corner's in that mix. Herzog, who just pit. Josh Corner, if I may or may not have already said that name. But actually, let's go back here, Brad. Ryan Hyatt, remember, he won the Corgi Airstrike race But he's dropping a clinker here today.
That doggone dog. Good old Ryan Hyatt, the Corgi Deluxe here. I mean, I don't know what you can say about him here that hasn't been said. Of course, he's running the Taco Bell car in Phoenix. Liv Moss here and trying to run through. He either does amazing at tracks or they just don't click with him. And I'm going to be real honest, talking with him earlier today, Phoenix is a track that he just doesn't like. And, he's here, he's running, he's trying. And he kind of told me earlier, he said, it's either going to work or it's not. And I don't really know. And very clearly I can see that it's not going to work is where we're at. Is Sean Bradley here trying to have a run on Steve McClendon up front here for second place. Sean Bradley around the outside, McClendon trying to hold the inside. McClendon all of a sudden has turned from the attacker to the defender here, trying to hold on to P2 for now.
Yeah, and his defensive skills are that there of me playing shortstop, which it's a lot of errors. Not so much making errors, but not making the plays right now as McClendon dropping back. But this is a very, very, very outlandish thing to say, but we went green around 53 laps in, which was 77 to end, and Steve McClendon himself did pretty neat, a little bit of information, because he does like us to know what we're talking about. And he said 70 to 75 laps on fuel. I mean, 77 to go. If this magically goes green, are we going to stretch it? Is he maybe backing off a little bit, try to keep some virtual Sunoco race fuel in that tank?
I think the question you have to bid on at that point is, are we going to go green to the end? Which, it's Phoenix. I'm not going to say it's impossible.
Yeah. If you shake the magic 8 ball, all signs point to no.
But, yeah, and I mean, but it's possible. That's the thing, is it's possible. This is the weird thing with Phoenix. Again, with this layout, is it's one of those tracks that can be so difficult but so simple at the same time to run. So I'm kind of just, waiting to see what happens. And even then, our one caution for cause was
at the end of the pack, too. It wasn't even really a big incident either.
Yeah, it was sort of. It was kind of a lazy one, if I'm honest.
I mean, Brett, I could pick up a basketball from 75 feet and chuck it up, and it's possible that I make it. Let's be real; it's probably not going to happen, but it's possible. It's a 1 in 1,000, 1 in 5,000 chance. But a Phoenix race going 2 cautions, one of them not being for cause—that's a stretch, but. I've seen crazier things here in the world, but this is not crazy. It's Ty Bass going for position on number 3 as McClendon heading down the pack, and he's led a fair portion of this race, 40 laps, and the fact that he is dropping the pace, I mean, let's just find out. We have the telemetry, we have the information, we have the technology. Let's try to deduce if he's doing anything that seems off the norm.
So he's staying in 4th gear here. He's not clutching in.
That's not a fuel strategy move. If he was a fuel strategy move, he'd have that thing in 5th to rev it as low as possible. Which, there it goes.
Yep. And then he's down into 4th.
Now, he's not doing anything out of the norm. At least that sticks out just numerically anyways.
Let's ride on board with Sean Bradley here if we get a second and see what he's doing for comparison, because I'm curious to see, because Bradley and Jackson are pulling a little bit here, so I'm curious to see what the difference is. So this is coming through 4th. He goes up into 5th there, into 1. He's going to shift back into 4th, just like McClendon. I mean, yeah, no, they're running very similar. I almost wonder if McClendon is tire saving more than he is fuel saving. He might be doing a smidge of fuel saving, if any, but I almost wonder if there's not more tire saving going.
I mean, look at the chart right there. You see that most of those leaders all within, actually that lap, he was the fastest car, him tied with Ty Bass. So throw that all in the toilet and give it a good old flusheroni there, because I don't think any of that's happening. And Ben Harcum down in the 8ths, but the 28 second, that's about 3/10 off the leaders, but that just could be due to dirty air and pace. Matt Parasini, he's back there in 10th. We know he has pace. He's in the thick of it here, but even his lap, pretty reasonable. So we'll see what happens. I mean, every race, Brad, gets to a point where you just kind of get the vibe that it has the possibility. We're too early into the stint right now. We're 30 laps in. Is that accurate? I don't think that's accurate.
More
No,
20
it is.
laps in, I think.
No, because no, a lot of them didn't pit actually on the stage. So actually, that would be accurate. A lot of them didn't pit on the stage. So let's take all that back, Brad. All that drama. Let's just press the rewind button on our VCR. We're going to be kind. We're going to rewind. Let's throw all that in the clinker, because outside of Michael Hopkins, Matt Parasini, Matt Harmon, everyone with an 18 next to their name, they have no choice. They're not even close. But those drivers on the ticker that you see with an 18 next to their stint length, or soon to be 19, they're the ones that we're talking about where there's a plausibility.
So that, I mean, just shifts everything through, because then, I mean, if you are Steve McClendon, you're just hoping for a caution at this point to kind of give you that free pit stop to get through and in, and then that'll put Parasini, Harmon, Hopkins all on the back foot, because they're going to be in an awkward position of what do they do, when do they pit, what do they need here as they go. But that's such an interesting spot as Parasini and Herzog kind of squeeze each other there towards the cactus. No prickly pears to be found there on the outside as they come through, and Parasini and Harmon sort themselves out. And further back here, we got the Dr. Pepper car that is going through the number 16 of Joshua Corner coming through the corner.
And I saw Hyatt there have a significant struggle there through 1 and 2, as that seems to be, as you said, he does not click with this track, so he is clearly making that known. There's Elton Wu. Remember, he was the only one to really have a wreck here today, and he has not really recovered from it too well. Some drivers we haven't spoken of today. Benson there in 21st. Benson nearly won at Daytona last week and lost it at the start-finish line by a whisker there in the last lap pass. And Michael Seymour, I don't think we've talked about him. Tex Nichols hasn't wrecked yet, but he's all the way off in the middle of nowhere land. Is running time trials there, 25th last on the lead lap.
Yeah, Tex, very much, we've talked about it time over time this season. Every time he's in a good position, something comes up, not his fault, 99.9% of the time. Big shout out to Tex, of course, for sponsoring this league all the way through for the Sunday night series, and throwing his name up on the front here as he goes through. Also, Tex has asked me to mention this here. If you reach out to him directly and you're looking to get some AMSOIL stuff, reach out to him directly. He can work with you a little bit, get you some good deals. Again, I personally run AMSOIL in my truck and it runs great. I get it from Tex, so got to give him a lot of love where it's due here for the Nichols Oil Pro Series.
And you can just, I'm assuming, Brad, you don't have to be local to anywhere. I'm assuming that we can do shipping on that.
Yep. I live, I think, like a 9-hour drive from him, and I mean, he just ships it to my door, so.
That's a lot of things people worry about is, well, hey, I'm not local, so how do I support? You don't have to be. You can support up. You know, most of changing your oil, you could spend about $110 at Valvoline and rip yourself off doing it, or if you know how to unscrew a plug and screw it back in and unscrew a filter and screw it back in, you can probably do it for a third of the cost there, and AMSOIL can easily facilitate you doing that. We have a battle for last, because it's a battle, and I don't care if it's for last. It's a battle. It matters. They're going at it. 35-42. This is for the million.
Let's see what happens here. 42 going through down the inside. The Alani car going past the mushroom or mushroom marshmallow.
Stay puffed.
Oh man, yeah, that tells you where I'm at here. The Slaughter design car, no surprise there. Jeff Slaughter also paints a lot of these cars here in the league. Let's see how things are going here. Is Kress up front, still nice and consistent P7. Ty Bass has worked his way back up into third here. He's been right there in the mix this entire time, and you can see this guy's kind of jockeying for position behind him here, looking to find somewhere to go, some way, somehow.
Yeah, Brad Kress nearly got pancaked into the wall there. Crothers just gave him the minimum amount of space and continues to follow that trend. And the risk versus reward on that move by Crothers was rather on the risk side, but now Kress is going to go full bananas on that outside lane, pull himself door to door. Crothers will cut. Crest will cut as well, and that will keep him side by side. And coming through 1 and 2, I can't really describe what line I think is the ideal one. Crothers will get the run through the center of the corner using that shorter distance, but the momentum carries to the outside, and that gives Brad Crest a spot.
Great move from him there as he comes through, and now down the inside there is the 57 of Herzog going past Ben Harcum as they come through down towards the cactus, and now you can see Harcum respond and go all the way down to the flat as one Mr. Al Corey is kind of sneaking around, and look at him fan out here all behind as they go through. Ryan Hyatt's in the mix here, Elton Wu corner, they are all sort of finding their way around.
McClendon dropping again.
Yeah, I don't think McClendon's feeling any pressure though as we are on 50 to go. I think McClendon is really just sort of breathing here.
Yeah, I mean, down to 5th, and in the clutches of people he hasn't been in the clutches of all race. Started up front, led 40 laps, had the clean air. We know how important clean air is here in these next gen automobiles. Just not having that dirty air on the nose, giving yourself maximum downforce is back of the shot. Ben Harcum into the fence for about the 68,000th time. But these next gen cars, sometimes they're made of paper mache, sometimes they're made of carbon nanotubes and just won't bend, which is clearly the case there for the 78. But either way, McClendon just in that dirty air, can't get that car to turn. I mean, I don't see the back end sticking out at all, so that would infer he's probably tight. Cars will get tight as well as that limited fuel load burns off, making that rear even lighter.
And just watch as they go through, and everything gets lighter, everything gets interesting. That's where you start to see the mistakes creep in, you see things go, but everybody's doing a good job so far here of holding on. Michael Hopkins down the inside of Ty Bass as they are working their way around and able to get his way up into 3rd. Let's see if Hopkins can kind of pull the cork off the bottle here and go after Sean Bradley and Jared Jackson, not let them run away too far as they go. And it looks like right now, in terms of times, we'll give it about two before I say anything too definitive, but Hopkins obviously is going to have the advantage on tires. He's going to be feeling a little bit better on that car, I'd have to say, compared to Sean Bradley and Jared Jackson. So if Hopkins has been sort of just breathing for a minute, I think he'll be in a good position.
Yeah, maybe save those tires, so, maybe breathe the fuel a little bit too, because this race is starting to get to that point where things become plausible. I don't want to say anything directly there and cause the commentators curse, but things become plausible with each lap that goes by. I'm not seeing any death dive bombs. I'm not seeing any body slams. I'm starting to see some, drivers racing the track, racing their own cars, and just letting people go. You can see the big wiggle there from the 405 of Emirates here, but I'd say as good of a time as any to do a little bit of a through the field here past lap 85 coming to 86. We have Jared Jackson, currently our race leader, from the 5th starting spot up to the lead. Sean Brad, for Pete's sake. I don't even know what I'm mad about. I said things are become plausible. That's as far as I will go with that.
Drivers, when you're watching the broadcast later, I would appreciate if you just call out that things were plausible until Corey said it. Oh my gosh.
And 12, 33, that was just he ran out of talent at the wall and then murdered himself on the inside fence. And then Fender is pogo sticking there on the straightaway. When I say ran out of talent, we're all friends with these guys, so there won't be any offense there, and if there is, whatever. But either way, everyone's into the pits, and let's get 4 tires, let's get fuel. Parasini staying on the racetrack. He's a lap down.
What?
Wait, hold the phone here, hold the phone. Stint. He pitted under green.
Oh. So we missed that just barely, which means he is in.
He's gonna be the free pass, and there's not a lot of cars 1 lap down, so he's not gonna be really in too bad of a spot. I mean, usually if there's a lot of 1 lap down cars, you're gonna be tail end of the line. He shouldn't be much more worse off than he was. He was going to try to use that undercut, get those fresh tires and get some kind of advantage and wait to see how it all flushes out. But that is all for naught. Again, another caution for very, very minimal cause there. Just actually, to be honest with you, I'm a little surprised the caution did throw out because he really didn't even get too sideways in that. But yeah, Barney was just itching to get these cars bunched back up so we can have those classic Phoenix restarts.
Yeah. This is going to be an interesting restart because we've now hit the point where I have a saying that I use a lot.
I feel like cautions breed
cautions.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
And obviously, we all know Phoenix, you go 5-6 wide on the race restart. I don't know. This is going to be interesting. This is going to go one of two ways, and I don't know that I have a good answer for which way this is going to go.
And there goes Tex getting the wave around. He was multiple laps down now. He is 1 lap down. He did also pit under green as well. So the worst part of this for Parasini is he is stuck on those 12-lap-old tires. They only get 3 sets of tires here in triple bypass. So he has 1 set left. Now, tires aren't huge here, but they mean enough that you want to be able to be on the same strategy. So he is just going to, honestly, if you're Parasini, he's going to want about a 10-15 lap run, 20 lap run, and he's going to want another caution to get everyone stacked up so he can get on the same tire strat as everyone.
This is going to be an interesting one to really watch how it goes here. McClendon and Bass up front, Bradley Jackson right there behind, and big jump there from Ty Bass in the restart zone. We go back green racing here in Phoenix, and immediately everybody off the track, because why would you stay on the track when it's there? As they come through down into turn 1, and we're wrecking. That's Jared Jackson around.
Yep, and we're not done yet. That is Harmon.
Was involved as well.
Yeah, Harmon involved, but again, Jared Jackson, who that's some significant damage, and he's going to stay out there. He doesn't want to get any undue penalties, but sort out what happened. 3 wide. Oh yeah, he didn't realize the car was low, and Harmon, he was sideways. Robinson there. Al Corey. Oh, Brad Kress.
Or he just avoided it.
Let's just go back, and I want to dissect a little bit further. We'll keep the top-down cam here. I'm assuming that we'll go back to zoom back. Oh, bollocks, I ruined it. I'm assuming here that he did not realize that they were 3 wide. So he expected that the car below him was going to have already made the turn into the corner, but Crothers was down there, because one thing that I do know is iRacing spotter will not call out what happens off of the racing surface. And since the dog leg is off of the racing surface, you can be 11 wide down there. Spotter will not call it out. But before you have a comment, Brad, I think this is as good a time as any to have a brief talk with McClendon, as we got about a lap and a half.
Yeah, let's get McClendon up here and get a quick moment with him if I can.
I got
get
him. 3,
this.
2, 1, here he goes.
All right, and here is our points leader, our race sponsor, Steve McClendon. Steve, Brad, and Corey in the booth. How's Phoenix treating you today?
Not too bad so far. Lost control of the race there right before the stage end, and I don't know, used my stuff up too, trying to get back by Jared there for that 1 point, but I don't know, stage points are premium, so it's kind of worth it, but I don't know. First half was great, second half not so much.
Well, we basically hit a reset switch here, I'd argue, with the caution coming out here, and now you've got Ty Bass in front of you. How you feeling about getting past Ty here? What are we thinking?
That's all how quick we can get off him, fire off in the restart. So just, I don't know, I guess just keep the pressure on him, hope he burns his stuff up. We were, running away from him there at the end of the stage. So we got about that much left to go, and kind of just hope for the same here.
Well, Steve, man, we're getting 1 to green here. We're going to throw you back down here so that way you can get back in the zone here to focus. Thanks for sponsoring the race, man. Anyone you want to shout out right now if we don't get to talk to you later?
Yeah, just all all the admin here, all the family and friends watching. Appreciate it, everybody, what everybody does. And yeah, we'll hopefully talk to you in a little bit.
Awesome. Thanks, Steve. We'll catch up with you.
Get him down there. I think he was talking to Benson, if I'm not mistaken. If he's not, well, I guess he's going to talk to him now. But Ty Bass gets the lead as, not sure why that, how everyone got, oh yeah, that restart with Jared Jackson all the way back there. Now 24th, he used his free pass. How far up can he get through the field as the caution's starting to come out plenty here at Phoenix. Lap number 93. Decent jump there from Ty Bass, and McClendon will fall back in line as, again, Sean Bradley looking spicy as well.
Yeah, everybody getting away there really well. Everybody fanning out, fanning back in, and squeezing into the track where they can.
There we go.
Huzzah. Throw the marshmallow man into the wall.
Well, at least if you're a marshmallow, it can't hurt that bad, right?
I hope not. I mean, I would think you'd want your marshmallows fluffy, though, maybe not flattened like a pancake. Okay. Let's see here, quick replay of how this one happened, and
he done wrecked himself.
He forgot what Doc Hudson said. Turn right to go left.
I already said one guy ran out of talent. I won't roast two people.
Oh, come on. Corey, are you getting soft on these guys? Is that what's happening?
No, I just don't want to repeat the same insult, and I don't have another one on the tip of my tongue right now. If I did, I'd certainly be going at it. Did we go through the field? No, we didn't go through the field because they
tried to.
Okie smoky, lemon pokey. Wait, what did I? Huh? Anyways.
What?
Okie smoky, lemon pokey. We'll go with that. Ty Bass leading this race. Steve McClendon in second. Sean Bradley in third. Keaton Crothers running in fourth. Mark Herzog back up to fifth. Michael Hopkins in sixth. Ben Harcum in the Crazy Chicken Mobile that is sponsored by Dave's. I just like that Crazy Chicken. And the Wooster in eighth. We got Al Corey up to ninth, and then Jeff Slaughter in 10th.
Going on from there, P11, it's the Corgi, Ryan Hyatt making a comeback tour. P12 is the Ice Cream Man, William Emmert there. P13 is going to be Joshua Corner, and then you got Matt Parasini actually in 13th.
They're side by side.
Corner's in 14th, running side by side. Daniel Williams in 15th place. From there we go P16, Donald Risteau, and then in P17, it's Timothy O'Connor with the O standing for Oh Boy. P18, Michael Seymour. P19 is Matt Harmon way back in the back, and then P20 is Matthew Robinson.
Brad Crescent 21st. Jared Jackson after that little faux pas in 22nd. Series sponsor Tex Nichols in 23rd with Siri, I'm not talking to you. 24th is Benson after that issue, but he used his fast repair and Do We Do What run in 25th. Sid has since retired from the race 18 laps go. And the Wooster, I just came up with that one. You know, they used to call Ricky Rudd the Rooster. Let's call him the Wooster.
Yeah, we're going to have to, like, bookmark that one now. So,
just need him to run a Ricky Rudd car.
Honestly, we should. If you missed Wednesday, real quick before we get going, we're on the 1 to green. If you missed Wednesday, there's now a PTR TV car that runs on Wednesdays that I personally painted. I might have to paint Elton Wu a Wooster car.
And he's never made any comment about our little like woo whistling thing either. So, I mean, but either way, we have some fun with these guys. This is a league that we air more on the side of entertainment on, so we roast, have some fun, and you know, we try to make this interesting for those, especially when the drivers watch this back and like to have a laugh or watch what they've accomplished over the course of the race. But into that O'Reilly Auto Parts restart zone, and what in heaven's name happened to Sean Bradley? He did not get that car up to speed.
Yeah, Sean Bradley just decided to leave the speed back in turn number 4 as he comes through around, and he's going to be under pressure very, very quickly from Keaton Crothers coming through and around. And three wide there, Elton Wu is going to say, boom. There is a between several cars there. Herzog taking a hit there from the 78 of Harcum. Everybody coming through 3 and 4, going around. Everybody roundy turn lefty, drop flat, but somehow we stay green.
Parasini coming back up through the field, and let me just check his data. No, he has not pitted. He's still on those older tires, and Has driven himself up into the top 10 through that absolute just gaggle as Slaughter has again slaughtered the turn 4 safer barrier here. Coming through the field, I don't know how Parasini's doing it on 10-lap older tires. Clearly they're not important, so that fact is right. That 24 driving himself back into relative contention.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, if you are the 24 Parasini, you're not racing for a championship. So, you know, you can have the fun and kind of do some different things here and there and just sort of see what sticks, see what doesn't as he goes through. Look at everybody just getting very feisty here into turn 4, trying to find a run around through the restart zone. Down towards the dog leg they go and again drop down and come back up onto the track to head towards turn 1.
Never realized how much
like
elevation there was there coming out of the dogleg. Kind of saw that on that camera. We'll pan to it next time as well.
Yeah, it seems like 2 is. I mean, these guys are just dusting the
guys,
wall.
Guys, there's a wall there. Usually,
they don't
car, no hit wall. That's kind of like basic racing terminology there. But yeah, let's watch this turn 1 cam we have here. Just go down. It's literally, you can quite significantly see how much actual elevation changes there is in going through, cutting that corner there is side by side. Herzog has it. Harcum wants it. That is for 6th, the highest battle here currently in the field.
And Herzog, again, in a good position there. Not a playoff driver. Hopkins is a playoff driver here. Harcum is a playoff driver here. So he's kind of in that weird little sandwich where it kind of becomes a, you know, how hard do you race? How respectful do you race? What do you do? But all these guys are really good friends, so it's not going to surprise me a bit to see a bit of give and take. But we are within 26 laps to go, so maybe less give and take than usual. As you got the Corgis kind of running things back here in the background. Joshua Corner and a Dr. Pepper car, and Ryan Hyatt to the inside here holding on. They're right behind Al Corey, and man, the dog leg, they fan it out 4 wide and then send it back on the track, send it through, and everybody just tries to hold on where they can. The 34 going up the inside here. Gonna squeeze it on the exit.
Oh, Dewey do what? Into El Wall once again. Name of the game here at Phoenix. If only iRacing emulated, you know, the paint scratches when the guys hit the wall, this whole place would just be perimetered in black.
Man, that'd be rough.
You know, they actually did that on a NASCAR 2000 on PlayStation 1. Every time you hit the wall, your car color paint would actually hit the wall. So it is possible. They did it 26 years ago. Holy crap. Yeah, the year 2000 was 26 years ago. Big scary there. But this is also big scary, this pack. Up front, Ty Bass still holding on to the lead up there of about 0.4 of a second. You heard McClendon say lost control of the race. That clean air ever so vital. Sean Bradley, though, is making a charge and not swiping the credit card. He is closing in on McClendon. He did get by him before, and he's finna try to do it one more time.
Yeah, let's see what he does here. Is you see everyone follow through. A little bit of sparks coming off as they drop down the dog leg, and then they round it up and come around into turn 1 and just push their way through, doing what they can. You know, just sticking nose to tail now, which I think is a good decision here until a little bit later in the race. Maybe save your equipment a little bit. Don't do anything too crazy. Don't risk the tires. You know you're good on field at the end at this point, I hope. So just let it run. Let it go further back. I mean, this is really where the Hornet's Nest is at, because there's not really a clean space of track. There's not really a space to really find yourself breathing room here, and you can go down, you can go up. Some guys stay on the track and defend. Some guys drop low and attack. Some guys drop low, defend. Some guys stay on the track and attack. I mean, if you're in this section of the track, there's nothing you can do here.
Yeah, it's just hard enough because here at Phoenix, especially later in the race, the dynamic track starting to, you know, work its way in, so you can not necessarily pass on the outside, but you can run serious defense on the outside, force guys, you know, be stuck side by side for laps on laps, and it's fun, but it also gets quite frustrating as the drivers are trying to clear passes. So makes it a lot harder, but making things happen is some of those drivers there. But we're still, I think, in the Darrell Waltrip car getting loose underneath corner there. But I'm going to cut back to the front because that lead disintegrated rather rapidly in the course of about 2 laps. Went from about half a second to essentially nothing here as McClendon has cut the gap on Ty Bass.
Yeah, McClendon, very, very wise driver here, and will know to save things to a little bit later. Maybe just sort of push Ty Bass, get Ty Bass to give a little too much into it, and then here on the very end, getting down towards the last stages as we've officially ticked the counter over into 20 to go. So we're from laps done to laps to go. So now this is where the mindset flips for a lot of these drivers, as the gap has opened back up to 3/10 here, but for McClendon, I think he's in a good position. I think he's probably saved a little bit of tire here, just enough time, just enough energy to really give it here at the end, give it the old college try and see if he can't get through. But again, Ty Bass, we know he's a hard driver, hard racer, and he is going to give it his all here to get a win. And I mean, if you're McClendon, how much do you risk it? What do you really decide to do here?
I mean, again, he's leading the race. He wants any advantage he can get. As Hart coming to the wall there, on board with Pericini. He wants any advantage he gets. Obviously, next week being the championship finale, having a 2-point lead or whatever it may be, that's no insurance. You want to have any sort of buffer you can physically have over Sean Bradley, just to quickly bring up the point standing, just so you can see them once more. You can see only a 1-point lead. August over Jared Jackson. Jackson, who is going to lose a bunch of points. He's back there in 11. So Sean Bradley, that'd be a point game. That's 8 points. That's a fair amount of buffer, especially with a field size of what we have. So Jared Jackson trying to pick off as many as he can, because this is all, championship opportunities. And with the speed he has, Harcum is in 7th. He's in 11th. He realistically could probably drive at least 4 spots up if he can get on the wheel there.
Yeah, I definitely think watching him here, he'll be able to do it. It's just a matter of how quickly and how patiently he really wants to do it there. As Elton Wu, the Wooster, has decided to tap the wall through the dogleg, and I really thought Jared Jackson was going to hit the pit wall there, because that was a hard lunge down the inside that he was going for. Wasn't able to clear here. Side by side we go with Emmer and Wu as they come along, and you can see Wu will have the run there. Emmer will send it down the inside like some melted ice cream and see if he can't slide his way through. Go up, closes the door. Wu again almost hitting the wall out of 4, and then everybody fling it all the way right back down to the inside, and cha-cha real smooth.
Crap, I forgot the next lyric. Oh my goodness, I am just letting so many people down. All right, cha-cha real smooth. Go to work. We're going to the left, because that's the direction of the track, and Steve McClendon is starting to take it back now, y'all, because he's down about 0.2 of a second now. It was down to a minimum of 2. It's up to 4. I know we said maybe he'd saved a little bit of tire. Maybe he had a little bit in the tank, but the hardest part is, even if he has the tire, this track doesn't allow you to change your lane too very much. So you're stuck in that dirty air. You're going 110 miles an hour. Those aerodynamics are in play. So that extra tire he may or may not have saved, not enough to overcome just the dirty air of the next-gen automobile.
Yeah, and unfortunately that is the nature of the next gen, and again, it's a love-hate thing, so we just watch here coming through and see what can happen here. The Corgi in the background trying to go for a top 10 run, and looks like he has unfortunately kind of reversed it here, as if they put lettuce on his taco, and he didn't want lettuce there from Taco Bell. Going through Hyatt down into 14th. That might have been a little too niche of a complaint. Taco Bell do better, but Hyatt down into 14th here. Robinson through, and I would not be surprised if Timothy O'Connor tries to clear through soon as well. Pericini here is still running his way around with Ben Harcum battling it up for P7.
Yeah, good battle here for position, as we'll see if Pericini, again, he is on those older tires, which is the important part to remember here. And he's on those older tires, and he has still been able to drive himself up from essentially last up to now this 7th spot. And Harcum running all the way to the fence. Remember, Pericini had pitted when we thought that things were plausible for this race to run green. And as soon as I said that, within 25 seconds, there was a caution flag. That put Pericini in the spot where he had to take the lucky dog and didn't get to pit when everybody else pit. Dirty the old tires on that car, and he's having to make the most of it, and he's doing a bang-up job. But look at up front. Look at Sean Bradley. He is trying to use that second lane, and he is using it successfully there. Kisses the safer barrier, but he is trying to get any clean air on his Mustang, and I'll say he's doing a decent job. He entered high, cut low, and it's seeming to work and giving him a shot for that second position.
Yeah, and that second position, very important for him in terms of the points and where everything's at. So just watch and see how this goes through the last few laps. I'm interested to watch. And honestly, one that I'm also watching is Keaton Crothers. And, I don't think Michael Hopkins is going to be able to close it up in the next 9 laps. But Keaton Crothers, I wouldn't completely count him out either yet. Because if he has been saving, if he has been sort of holding on to anything, he could possibly open that 809 up and really mix things up in that High Life car and try to find himself onto the podium.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if they start battling, which they are, and he's only 2 seconds off, but he's only 8/10 off that battle. But got to keep it off that turn 2 wall, which has been the struggle point. But Ty Bass has pulled out to a 1-second lead, so he is in cruise control now. The only thing that would throw his race off would be a caution flag if one is to so exist. But 36 laps left. If he could pull this thing off, that'd be 43, which I believe would be a race high. Yes, that would surpass McClendon. And who else has been up here today? No, Parasini. Who's the other guy that's been up front today? I can't even remember. Oh, Jackson, 44. So no, it would actually be Jared Jackson still getting. I don't even think it's a point, but just a point of contention. Jared Jackson would have the most laps led here tonight.
Yeah, that is impressive from Jackson, that he was able to get away from McClendon there, get the run through. But again, it kind of shows you just how uncertain racing can be at times. Wow.
Commentator's curse. Did I do it again? No, we somehow...
You just got so lucky.
We somehow stay green. Ben Harcum, who has had so many issues here today, and nearly put us into a green-white checker hoopla finish, but Barney let him play very quickly on replay as we are in the waning stages of this race. Coming through the corner, bounced off the yellow line, got back to the yellow line. Once he got back to it on turn 4, I don't know how that stayed green.
Barney was feeling very nice to you today is exactly what that was. 4 laps to go here. Ty Bass still up in front here. Gap is second. And I mean, really, yeah, he's taking this away from Ty Bass. Sean Bradley there is in second. McClendon's in third. And yeah, I think at this point, if they can keep it clean to the end, it's going to be nice and smooth here. But really, I think the big battle right now is going to be Crothers and McClendon here, Corey.
Yeah, they're currently, that's the battle for third. That's the battle to talk to us here in the post-race show if the drivers want to make themselves available for it here. Crothers looking to the high side and trying to get whatever clean air on that number 809 that he can. And that's something McClendon just hasn't been doing here today. He has been glued to the line. Not sure if he hasn't practiced it or he just can't figure it out, but he hasn't been altering his line at all. He has been kind of a one-trick pony in that regard, and it may have been the start of his demise here tonight.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate to see that is what caused the demise, but that is just, it's the nature of the race and how things go here. 2 laps to go, coming around, and you can see just, it's been a great run here. See where things go. And then come around, white flag will come through as they come out of turn 4, hit the O'Reilly's restart zone, and Barney has the white flag. The cactus doesn't change colors, but it is final lap here, Corey, and for Ty Bass, it is another mile of running.
Yeah, thought it would turn white, but it didn't. I will say, Sean Bradley is coming. But it's just a little bit too little, too late here. He's got it down to nearly a half a second. But Ty Bass, once he got the lead, started the race on the aggressive trail, and he got himself to the lead. No prisoners to be given. It's going to get him a win here. Ty Bass wins the Heat Stroke 130 at Phoenix. Bradley and McClendon will round out our podium efforts here today at the Phoenix Raceway.
Big kudos from everyone surviving that through with minimal cautions as well. What was our final caution count?
Yeah, we didn't even keep track of it. Wait, what? So that was clearly broken, which don't quite know why, but I'm going to say 5, 6, something like that. I don't know if it's because it's post-race. It forgot already, but either way, there goes the victory burnouts for Ty Bass, and another victory here this season, doing a good job in today's race. And while he does that, let's go ahead and get our post-race show underway here from Phoenix. Getting today's win by a final victory margin of 0.7 of a second is Ty Bass over Sean Bradley. All those playoff drivers, a playoff top 10. You got Bradley second, McClendon third, Crothers fourth, Hopkins in fifth, Parasini a solid sixth after what he had to endure, Herzog in seventh, then Emmert, Jackson, and the Wooster in 10th.
And there we go on to P number 11. That's going to be Brad Kress here. Matthew Robinson in 12th place. Timothy O'Connor in P13. Jeff Slaughter in 14th. Al Corey, the boss man, will find P15 with Ben Harcum in 16th. The doggone dog, Ryan Hyatt in P17. And Donald Risto in P18. Daniel Williams will find 19th. And Matt Harmon will find 20th place on the run here.
21st, we'll find Jason Benson with Seymour in 22nd. Josh Corner, 23rd. Tex. One of the few races I don't think he's wrecked and didn't have speed, but at least he didn't wreck here today. He's in 24th, Dewey in 25th, Sid in 26th, and then Ward Fisher didn't actually take any laps here today. But we'll start our post-race show. Brad, I'll send you down to Victory Circle, which I don't know if he actually is in Victory Circle, because this is one of the few tracks that you can actually go there, but he ain't there. But either way, you'll have a word with Mr. Ty Bass.
Ty Bass, man, you get the win here in Phoenix. How's it feeling there for the track for you?
Yeah, I really didn't feel the best the whole race until I got out front on that last run. Kind of took a gamble and tried to get track position, and that really changed the race for me. When I was stuck back in dirty air, I didn't feel like I had anything, and I feel pretty bad for Jared. I think he was class of the field tonight, but he got caught up, and at least we took advantage of it. So
I gotta ask, how different does the car feel in clean air versus dirty air? Because it seemed night and day different for you, for McClendon, for Jackson, for everyone. Was it that much of a difference going through?
Yeah, I think it's been pretty bad since the update. Pretty much everywhere we go. I would say it wasn't as bad tonight as it has been, but it was still pretty bad. I mean, my right front was murdered after that first run that we had. So that one right there, I could tell it was a lot better. I had a lot less drop off as far as the lap times went. So.
Yeah, and Ty, man, just looking ahead here, obviously you get the win on the weekend here. Looking into next week, how are you feeling about the final race of the season? What are you thinking?
I feel pretty good about it. I feel like we could have won a few of these races. It's just if it could happen, it's happened. Between leading with green light checkers coming out and getting wrecked and getting used up and stuff just not falling our way. So I'm glad stuff kind of fell our way for once and we didn't have a caution there. But I feel pretty good about next week. We'll do a little practice and see how we feel, but we should be fine.
All right, well, Ty, man, congratulations on the win. Great to see you up at the top, and we'll see how you do next week at Darlington, man. Take it easy.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
And Corey, I believe that is going to put you with our second place driver, Mr. Sean Bradley.
All right, Sean, you started sixth. You never quite got to the lead, but it seems as though you had the speed for it. Just needed either a long run or just needed a restart to get you closer, man. You got within 0.7. You got within sniffing distance, but overall, just kind of summarize that 77's day for us.
Yeah, it was really good on the long run. There was a couple of times where I had to cool off my tires and then make another run at it, and I had to do that with McClendon at the end. I couldn't get around him the first 3 or 4 times that I tried to get a run on him. And if I got around him sooner, then maybe I could have passed Ty for the lead. But I was catching him towards the end, but I just ran out of time.
And just looking for, obviously, you being third in points. Jared Jackson, you're probably going to be tied or very close to Jared Jackson, after his issues, got him 9th. McClendon, you gained a point on him. So I think you're going to be roughly 7-8 points off the lead going into the final run at Darlington. I know that's a little bit of work to do, but what's your confidence level heading into the Lady in Black to get it done?
You know, I had zero confidence coming into this race, and it turned out okay. So I'm going to say that I have no confidence going into Darlington, then, and hopefully the same thing will happen.
Yeah, I mean, that old reverse psychology card works for you, man. But either way, congrats on a solid second place, and we'll see what you can do when the literal money's on the line next week.
All right, thanks. Cheers.
And just wrapping things up, we already spoke to him once, but we'll speak to him twice. Brad has Mr. Steve McClendon again.
Steve, man, welcome back. I know we talked to you earlier, but hey, if you get P3, you got to get back in the booth, man. So had a good run there to the end. It seems like just dirty air seems to be a problem for these cars in general. How'd things feel there after we talked to you last time?
Yeah, it was pretty key there. The dirty air was rough. And having 2 tires just exacerbated, is that the right word? Just made it even worse, man. So, kind of burned everything up. And I know it looked like I let Sean by there towards the end, and I did because he was faster. I was hoping he'd get up there and start racing and maybe let me back into it because that was really my only shot at anything. So just trying to accumulate points. It's kind of the name of the game now. And I saw Jared had a pretty rough night, so it sucks for him for sure. So hate that, but try to capitalize on what we got.
Absolutely, man. It was so interesting to kind of watch the run go through there and develop. But I got to ask, how are we feeling about Darlington next week? Because obviously we got to think big picture in your situation for the points.
Yeah, I mean, I feel good. It's a good track. I've run there good in the officials in the past. I've not run it with them yet in TBP, so I don't see it being any different than it has been the rest of the year. Just stay up front, try to get points. That's what it is now. It's kind of used everything up there at the end of stage 1 tonight because points are such a premium. So just do the same thing next week and hope for the best. See where it shakes out.
Absolutely, man. And Steve, looking forward into next week. Is anything you're going to take away from this week for next week?
Nah, there's nothing really, that compares these 2 tracks. So, Darlington is a beast of its own for sure. So just put in a good amount of work this week. I don't really like Phoenix, so I put in a lot of work this week to, be good, I guess, for lack of better terms, and seem to pay off tonight. So just do the same thing this week, and like I said, kind of just hope for the best at that point.
Absolutely, man. Congratulations on the P3. We'll see how the championship shapes up next week, man. Take it easy, and we'll catch up with you later.
All right, buddy. Sounds good. Y'all have a great week. Thanks for the broadcast, and thanks to everybody that runs good, clean racing around here, and we'll talk to y'all later.
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks, Steve.
Yep.
All right, well, that'll wrap up a show here today. Brad, a race that got done a lot faster than we thought, probably cleaner than most everybody thought. Ty Bass getting ourselves a win, and 1 race to go in our season.
Yeah, I can't wait for next week and to see how things go. It's going to be a fun one to kind of see how the season finishes up, but Corey, ain't nothing to it but to do it, man.
Exactly that. Well, Brad, you'll be the man in charge next week because I will be off in a tent in the middle of a forest. So make sure you stay tuned, like, share, comment, subscribe. Brad will be back on Wednesday with the Elbows Out Racing League, and then we will be back here on Sunday night for the season finale of Triple Bypass. If you are looking for some racing to be covered, you can check out PrimetimeRacingTV.com. We do have some openings here to fill in, and we would love to showcase your league here in the same capacity that we did here today. But that is going to be Corey and Brad signing out of the booth. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.
See you.